Well, here we are, rolling into Joseph's. He said something about having a lunch in here. He said, lunch is ready. And I said, Joe, I'm not in the mood for trickery and shenanigans. And he said, okay, LOL, whatever that means. We're gonna find out. And then we're gonna take this Coronado on a test run down the freeway. But first we gotta figure out this lunch. What's this lunch thing you keep? I don't. When you put LOL in your response, and so that really, I don't know. Oh, Josel! That ain't so bad, Rob. That ain't so bad at all. Look at this out here. He got razor blades and hot dogs. What more does a man need?
Already they don't fit.
Josel, you have the coolest. You have the coolest work table that I've ever seen. You guys, look at this. Whoo, nuggy. It's grilling season. We got, these are buffalo specials, you said?
Yep, Salins.
Salins. There's the man
All
of a
the way
Salem
from
dude right there. All the way from Buffalo, right to our plate. Oh, I can't wait.
Be out there.
Oh my
See,
goodness.
You're
You guys, look at that. Little did we know. I still see the resemblance. With that button right over his shoulder there.
Hockey season's over. It's,
as far as engine master, though, I'll have that. I did get my PACCAR certification a while I was still with Kenworth. That was kind of a wasted, sir.
I mean, those were mostly cars.
Man, oh, well, here she is, y'all. Looks like the stray wiring is all buttoned up. Got a pyrometer back in there. She's really ready to go. So here's the plan that we have. I'm gonna go down. There's a cow trailer of a friend of mine's that I'm gonna go hook onto to give us some weight. I'm gonna hook onto that cow trailer. We're gonna go down the freeway. Gonna go for about a, 50, 60, 70, 80 mile run pulling that cow trailer. Got some hills to pull through. Should be able to cycle this engine through a good lot of pulling and whatnot. We'll get that done, look things over, and if all is well, clean bill of health, we're gonna head her on up home. Tomorrow I've got a load of cattle to load and haul to Boise, Idaho. Gonna be a big load, be a great break-in load for this thing. So, let's see what happens. I've always said that it's every truck's true desire and true dream to be hooked to a cattle trailer. All right, y'all, we're out on the freeway, rocking and rolling, putting the old Detroit through her paces. There's a good stretch of freeway east of Billings on I-90 where you climb a lot of up and downs. So, got the master over there, the student in the seat here, and we're not holding back, laying to it, going through some heat cycles, pouring it on the hills, slide down the backside. We have an ABS light on, which is because we have this cow trailer hooked up. So don't worry, don't mind that. It's geared real well. I was kind of curious how the gearing was gonna look. 1500, 69, right on the spot, which is good if I'm in a hurry and I need to run 18th gear. We can jim jam a little bit. When I'm empty, I like to do about 62 or 3 and just mosey home, which we can do in 17th gear now that we have this powerful 18 in here. So what else? Water temp's looking good. Haven't even got the fan to kick on yet, which doesn't come on till 2:05 or 8, I think, on a Detroit. So probably not going to see that until tomorrow's load of cattle. Oil pressure's right up in there, cruising at about 50. I don't know how Joe is so settled over there. I was teasing him that I would be a nervous ball of nervousness. I mean, I'd change a tire on my truck and I go out on the road and I'm like, oh, I hope I tighten the lug nuts right. Oh man. He's over here just, at least if he's worried, he ain't showing it. Cool as a cucumber. Joe to explain a little bit for those of you out there, you've been following along on this whole project. What are you looking for? We're out on a 70-mile run. What are you looking for as we're cruising?
So, main thing is noises. You want to listen for any kind of metallic, metal on metal noise, ticking noise.
Jak Brakes.
Yeah. Belt noise, boost leak. You know, if you hear that air whistling, rushing, you want to listen for boost leaks. Smells. You smelling for coolant, oil. You know, either one of those would be bad. You know, watching the gauges, temperature, oil pressure, things like that. Just want consistent, which we're not getting warm at all. That's kind of about it.
So we'll flip around up here at some point. Probably want to stop, see if there's any leakage, seepage, weepage.
Yep.
Maybe not pop the hood out there, but if there's nothing on the ground, turn it around and head her back into the wind.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay, back off the road. Pulled in the shop. Want to do a couple things. We're going to adjust the clutch a little bit. You just get a little grindage when you go into gear, so we're going to adjust that and give her the old flashlight check for any leakage, seepage, weepage, whatnot. Your
Valve cover is nice and dry.
valve cover deal's holding good. See that there? Can do a little tighten on the fan belts, just a touch. Okay, well, we inspected the rear ends real quick too. The guy told me the guy that traded this in at the dealership that sold me the blown up truck. Thank you, D&B Trucks. Second blown up truck I bought from D&B Trucks. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Anyways, he told me that the back rear end was new. And you never know, you get into this kind of stuff and you're like, who knows? He has got no reason to tell me fibs because it's long gone. He traded it in ages ago. Back rear end had beautiful fresh oil in it. Front rear end, Rob, was not quite so fresh. I think the front rear end in this truck is original, so the next and last thing we'll probably do with this is we're gonna change suspension bushing soon, and then probably pull the front rear end out and take it to a builder here in Montana that'll go through it, freshen it up, and stick her back in, and then we'll be officially engine, transmission, front and rear diffs all the way through, happy and cheerful. And then anything other than that will just be little interior, you know, fixes and tweaks and things as time goes. But really strong out there on the road test. Felt real good. She's gonna get a workout tomorrow on a break-in because that load, I have a feeling, as cattle loads always go, is gonna be heavy. Well, you guys, it's time.
Good to go.
Joe said he's comfortable if I am to head out of here. I don't know that I'm comfortable to leave the embrace of old Joseph. It kind of feels very safe in Joe's shop, you know? Yeah. You get out on the road with a load of cattle somewhere, Joe seems so far away, you know? But that's going to wrap. I guess that's going to wrap it, guys. We're going to... I'll bring you along a little on the trip. I'm not going to end the video here. I think I'll add a little more because we're going to have this break-in trip tomorrow.
Sure you don't want to go along on the trip?
Okay, you guys. Well, let's see what tomorrow brings. Joe, You're the man. Okay, quick little flash forward. It's the next day. Truck fired up this morning great. It was about 23, 24 degrees. I hate cold starts, you guys, more than anything. However, the engine block cord on this is no good, and I don't have one. So cold start it was at 24. I'd say 24 degrees, if I remember right, when I was in the pickup. Anyway, cranked right off, sounded great, everything's up, going. Drove 100 miles over here to where we're loading. Got a big load. It's a huge load, very big load. Probably gonna gross about 104,000 pounds on this load. So gonna be a big, good load. Let's go get these things on and get down the road. Okay, in the midst of a pretty good climb here, I just crested a big old pull where it almost sucked me down into low range, not quite. Still climbing to the top of that hill over there. Big, long, slow pull. Haven't got over 45 miles an hour since I left the chute. The reason I'm having to go this way is because, yes, as always, with almost every load of cattle you will ever haul, I'm starting this load a little heavy. I'll end this load well under my legal limit, but for the first, 5-6 hours of the trip till the cattle shrink, that's where we're at. Anyways, pulled really well. I didn't get, you see my temperature there? Didn't get over 195, didn't hit 200, so no engine fan yet. And I've just been pulling. Trying to, kind of go through some different cycles on this break-in. I am lugging this thing down to 1500 and letting it really pull there for a little while, and then easing off and downshifting and kicking her up to 1800 and letting her pull. Trying to simulate what a actual dyno would do were you on a dyno in a shop. So really pleased so far. Yes, there's snow. They got a heck of a blizzard here last night. Raging, wild, crazy 50-mile-an-hour winds and snowing sideways. Anyway, it's cleared off and the sun's come out. It's a nice 28 degrees and we're on our way. Shifts very well. I'll be honest, you guys, I think this Freightliner configuration of a shifter is my favorite of all the trucks I've driven. And kind of driven them all, but I really like the way this one sets. We're lugging down here pretty good. Let's grab a gear, wrap her up a little bit, grab another gear, wrap her up some more, kick her into that 1600 and come to it. Strong, feels real strong. Something I'm really happy about so far, the way the water temp's running, is I have a tune. This is still waiting to go in. I cannot put this tuner in from PDI until I hit my 10,000 miles. So we're gonna break it in factory stock for the first 10,000. Then it'll get the tune. When you get the tune, you get a little more heat, obviously. So good to see that I have so much headroom on my water temp. Jak Brakes. Wow. That's at 1700 RPMs going down this hill loaded. We're gonna have to figure out some kind of sound situation. There ain't no way I'm gonna be able to handle that. All right, y'all, climbing up Kings Hill. It's called Kings Hill. Fan just came on here. Just came on. 205 on a Detroit 208, something like that I mentioned earlier. But this is a big long slog. You kind of settle in on it, get that 1600 RPMs, and just kind of let her do her thing here. Not boosting crazy turbo. Building plenty of heat, as evidenced by the fan coming on, so I'm not worried about a heat cycle on the break-in here. We're getting plenty of it without putting the pedal through the floor. All right, we're just about to the top. I don't know how many miles this pull is. Kings Hill's probably, if I had to guess, I'd say 5 miles. From the chute where we loaded, you guys, it's been a constant climb. You have a little downhill and then you climb. Let me check my trip meter. We're 37 miles into the trip since the chute, and it's been pulling the whole time. Look over there's the ski hill, known as Showdown. They're all closed for the season, but I bet they wish they were open today. If you can hear me over the sound of the Jak Brakes, raise your hand. Just a little side note. I can never preach this enough, you guys. When you're hauling heavy, such a different world from hauling, you know, 60,000 pound, 70,000 pound, even 80,000 pound gross loads. When you're hauling up in the 90s and the low hundreds and 110 and 15, 20, going down these hills, you don't get a chance to make a mistake. You have to start it right from the top. What I mean, you've got to be geared down slow and low from the top. Rule of thumb, whatever gear you climbed the hill in, you should descend the hill in a gear lower than that, even slower than you climbed. And modern engines have such powerful Jak Brakes, they've kind of thrown that all out the window. And so it's caused people to go down hills way, way faster than they should and be way less cautious. I'm doing 16 miles an hour right now, coming down this thing. I'll tell you a story. Last winter, so it'd be about a year ago, an acquaintance of mine was pulling a double load of hay over this exact mountain pass, coming towards me. He was pulling a 48 and a 28, probably about 110,000 pounds. When he got over the top, he started down the backside a couple gears too high, and he was not able to slow it down, and unfortunately ended up taking his truck, set of double trailers and load of hay over the edge. A little bit less steep than this on the other side, but completely annihilated, totaled his semi, trailers, everything, obviously the hay. He somehow walked away with just a couple pretty big gashes and survived. I don't know how, but anyway, just a good lesson and a reminder that, yeah, you might get stuck behind someone like me someday coming down a hill going slow, but it's okay to be frustrated because you're probably in a hurry. But man, don't flip me off, don't honk at me, don't shake your fist, because this is how you have to descend a mountain pass when you're loaded and heavy hauling. Okay, here's one you weren't expecting, and I'm going to give it to you straight. No questions. Guaranteed, 100% factual, non-opinion. This truck with a load on it, it's a Freightliner Coronado with air ride front end, rides smoother at highway speeds than the 2021 Peterbilt 389 that Chris and I drove last year hauling race cars for Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR. I hate to say it, but it's the truth, man. This thing is. All right, that settles it. My Jak Brakes are loud enough that there were some cattle sitting next to the fence down here. And when I let her loose, they all got up and ran away. That's the official sign from a ranching perspective that the Jak Brakes are too loud. I'm gonna check cows. I'm gonna grab a little bit of lunch. By the way, still feeling really good. Kept the weight off, continuing to eat well, thanks to Be Lean Fitness, you guys. If you're looking as a trucker some way out of the trucking horrible nutritional circle that we've been placed into by the big truck stops and whatnot, check out Be Lean Fitness. If you use my code, there you go. Anytime, from any video where I do anything with Be Lean, you get 50% off your first month. Anyway, that's a sidebar. What I want to say is that on the quad axle trailer, Big Rob and I just replaced the tie rod ends, and I need to check these new tires. I've been just chewing through tires on that cow trailer. Tires are looking good. I know you guys are thinking in 80 miles, 70 miles, how could you tell? It was taking new tires and destroying them in 5,000 miles, down to nothing. wearing them even down to nothing. So it might be a little early to tell, but I'm thinking, really hopeful that those new tie rod ends over there are doing the ticket. We're definitely getting more legal, more and more legal as we sit here. Almost got whizzed on. Let's giddy up and go. Man, everything looked great. Didn't you think? Well, y'all, here we are out in the flats of Island Park, Idaho. We have officially completed all of the pulling on this trip. Montana has all the hills. Idaho, coming in this way, I'm gonna say has virtually nothing left to offer us. Heading to Boise. Not a whole lot more to tell you. I'm gonna continue pushing on. I probably got another, 280 miles to go, something like that. And we'll just keep her rocking across here. I did call Joe. He was a little nervous. He did not answer the phone the first time. When he finally called me back, I said, Joe, don't wuss out on answering the phone when your overhauled truck is out hauling 100 and some thousand pounds down the road for the first time. So anyways, he called, gave him the lowdown on everything. He was very pleased. He said, I must have done something right. To which I responded, Joe, when you do an overhaul, you're doing about 974 different things right. So I think by now, you guys, as hard as we've pulled this truck, if we were going to have something come apart inside the engine due to something not being assembled right, I think it would have happened by now. Oh man, y'all, this Idaho sunset. She's gone, she's down. Means it's really time to boogie boogie. Hey, everything's going great. I've checked a few more times, looked over for leaks, anything questionable. There's nothing other than my tachometer. It went back to working normal, and then it went back to working now 5 ticks below. So definitely, I think rather than trying to find one to put in there, I'm gonna pull that out and send it off to an auto electronics place and just have them rebuild the one that I have. I don't know. Next stop, what did I say? Gonna be fueling up here in about 30 minutes, and we'll see. I'm guessing the way I've been driving this thing, I would be blown away. You guys, I will be blown away on a fresh engine that you're breaking in if I have got 4.5 miles per gallon. I'll be blown away. I have no idea what to expect. This is more of a classic truck than I'm used to driving, so I'm guessing it's catching a little more wind, although it's known to be fairly aerodynamic. Let's find that out. I'm hoping for about 5 loaded would be awesome with this huge load on. 5 would be amazing. 4.5 is probably what it's gonna be. You guys, this is, so I did just, 521 plus 75, whatever that math comes to. Almost all of these miles were loaded. There was 75 empty miles, 521 loaded miles, loaded heavy, whipping and spurring to break this thing in. 5.57, almost 5.6 MPGs loaded. Now look, to some of you guys, 5.6 is gonna sound atrocious. You're gonna be like, whoa man, I get like 7 with my rig, Not hauling cattle. Not hauling cattle. All the classic Peterbilts and stuff you see cruising around hauling cattle, them guys are getting like 4 miles to the gallon, 4.2, 4.5, basically what they're doing. So the fact that this little Detroit, and it's not even tuned yet, once I put a tune in, it'll do even better. If it follows course with my other 2 Detroits, I'm just thrilled. Oh man. Oh, good morning. Well, the old Coronado. I don't know what to say other than I think we're good in the hood. I think all is well. Impressed with the power, impressed with the fuel mileage. I still can't get over the fuel mileage. I'm really excited. What excites me about that fuel mileage is to see what this truck can do if we ever can get to where we haul some of these other things like I typically do, you know, like the hoppers. Man, I was getting crazy fuel mileage pulling those hoppers around back when we used to do the hoppers. No market this year for hoppers. Rates are just garbage, so we're not hooked onto them. Literally not hooked on and taken a load. First time in 6 years. First time in 6 years that we haven't hauled a load for this company that we've, you know, worked with. They've been great. Anyway, more doom and gloom, I guess, on that end. But you know, they're saying this guy's been in the industry, in the hopper industry, for 25 years. He's like, this is the worst. Never seen it this bad before in the hopper world. So anyway, point of that is that I would love to know what this truck will do pulling a hopper, pulling the flatbed, you know, even pulling a van trailer. I don't know that we'll ever get to know anytime soon, because cows seem to be the thing that I just keep kind of waiting around in the wings for. But makes me think, if I can get 5, 6 loaded with cows, heavy hauling, maybe I could get, you know, 6.5, 6, 7, 5 pulling a hopper trailer, you know, something a little more aerodynamic. These cow trailers just pull like a bear. Got a little tendon hanging up in my hand this morning. Anyways, I'm gonna get out before I fire this thing up. I'm gonna check everything over, check the oil, see if we're burning any oil off. It's not uncommon when you're breaking an engine in to use some oil, you know, to use a couple gallons even in your first 5,000 miles while those rings are getting seated properly. But the Kenworth never did. It never used any. Well, I don't see anything serious. One thing to note, both PDI turbos have done this, so I want you to know this is a normal thing. They will sweep a little oil past them for about 70, 80 miles, and they seal up tight. So if you get one of these, well, it's still a little bit warm. I guess I haven't been parked all that long. Anyway, they seal up, they square up good. The Kenworth was that way, this one was that way. Had just a tiny little bit of oil down here in the downspout that came out of the clamp. At 60 miles and at 100 miles, it was all gone. So nothing to worry about there. Little oil drip, that came out of the blow-by tube, which is normal. On a 60 series Detroit, we serviced this the other morning. It was just a tick above the full mark. Here we're at, boy, we're right there, look at that. See that full, that F? You guys, that's not bad. That's, like I said, 800 and whatever miles I did yesterday. The oil isn't even blackened yet. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I love these little Davco water separators. This one's not a Davco, it's a Zimmerich, I guess. But anyway, I'll just give her just a little kick there. Valve cover's still tight. We had a little seep right here early on when we first fired it up. Joe repressed it, siliconed it a little, and well, it seems to be good. Cracked right off, fired right up, all good. Man, last night I carry a little hose with me, a little collapsible hose, and a lot of truck stops, you know, they have a hydrant next to the pump, and like I'm loading again on Monday with cows to come back down here again. And trailer wasn't very dirty, so a lot of times I'll put a couple 100 gallons of water in the belly, you know, use a squeegee and push everything into the belly, and then, you know, go ahead and let it slosh around, and then when I get back home I can let that out or whatever. And I was doing that last night, and my hose died, so I'm a little short on water in the belly. So now I'm in like this gray zone where I don't have enough water in my belly to clean it out, but I put enough water in there that, you know, it's a mess. So I'll have to squeegee that out at home. Maybe get one of the kiddos to do it for me like the good old days.